All right, baby. Positivity is everything. Maintain your disposition at an optimistic vibrational state of gratitude. In other words, be grateful, baby. Welcome. It's another edition of the Sunday Night Spotlight. I am the great Doc P. And as you know, the Sunday's Night Spotlight comes at you every Sunday. And I always like to bring you something, someone, something that you need to know about. And I'm telling you tonight, man, hey, we got us one tonight. All right. I'm bringing to you tonight a musical veteran. All right. And hey, she's originally from the Motor City. All right. And hey, she carries that legacy on. You know what I'm saying? I mean, ever since her debut album on Warner Brothers that brought you hits like Better Than Me and Straight Away, all the way up to the House Projects to all kinds of stuff. I mean, this is a legend right here. You know what I'm saying? I mean, she's worked with Eric Benet, Jaheim, Will I Am, Patti LaBelle. Hey, tonight we're going to get the whole story from the one, the only Terri Dexter. All right. I mean, hey, you've seen on stage, hey, actress, writer, composer. Uh, Without any further ado, ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only Terri Dexter in the house.
Hey, thank you.
What's
Thank
going on,
you.
Terri?
Oh, I'm just happy to be here, happy to wake up, happy just to live, you know what I'm saying? And so grateful. Thank you so much.
Well, hey, I have to tell you that I am happy and honored to have you here.
Oh, thank
I
you.
mean, I me, I get a certain kind of way when I'm in the presence of greatness.
I'm in the presence of greatness with you, you
Oh, well,
know.
I am the great Doc P, but I mean, hey, but you, I'm telling you, the
Thank
new
you.
record, Believer, um, I love it.
Thank
Um, you know,
you.
it's a great, just a great R&B record, and
Yeah.
I really want to get into what that's all about because
Sure.
I'm checking out the lyrics, and it seems like it's coming from a deep place. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying?
Yes,
And
yes.
and it's something that you wrote, and
Yeah.
your writing is just uh, it's unbelievable. You know what I'm
Thank
saying?
you. Thank
So
you. Thank
you
you.
know, let's get into that going way back. I want to take you way back. All right, you know.
Yes.
So I was reading somewhere where you're originally from Detroit.
Uh-huh. Yes, yes. The D.
Wow, the Motor City. Wow.
Yes. Yes, I
So
am.
at what point? I mean, now I know that coming out of a city like that, where I mean, really the backbone of black music,
Yeah.
R&B
Yeah.
music. Um, at what point was it that you you found your gift, the gift that you have? I mean, at what age? I always like to ask artists, like, what was the moment when they discovered that, all
Mhm.
right, this is what I'm going to do,
That's what I'm
sing.
gonna do. Yeah, so I mean, I can't remember not singing. I mean, literally ever I don't even have a memory where I didn't have this urge and need to sing and wasn't singing. It was I was about like 6 or 7, and I remember like jumping on my dad's lap. He was watching TV, and I was like, "Dad, I'm gonna sing for you. I'm gonna sing for you." And I wrote this song. I never forget that song. I still remember the slow song I wrote about cooking food. I know I worked so hard. I remember that's my first song, and I sang it to my dad, and my dad was like, called my mother in the room, and he was like, sing for your mother, and I sang for my mother. And then that day, my dad, that night, that evening, he said, put on your coat. I never forget, he took me down to my uncle's church, New Hope
Uh-huh.
Baptist, and he brought me into the church, and he talked to my uncle, who's his brother, and was like, Terry can sing. And then he said, sing for your uncle. I sang for my uncle, and they were in the middle of choir practice, and the master of music said, "Come on up." And he was like working with me a little bit, and he was like, "Okay, you're gonna sing on Sunday." And I went to a couple of more rehearsals with the kids choir, and I
Yeah.
sang my solo that first Sunday. So that was the beginning of like, oh wait, uh, Terry could sing through my parents, and my dad just knew the first place to start with me was church. So that's where it all started. Around, 6, 7 years old. I was a little kid. And after that, it was singing every Sunday, rehearsals, really working and honing music and singing in church. And that's where it all sang. And then it just extended from there to doing professional studio work as a child, 9, 10, and it just kept going from there since childhood. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. My
That's
very
beautiful.
My first record deal, a lot of people don't know this, but my very first record deal, I was 14. So we were
Oh,
actually, I just turned 14, and that was before the Warner Brothers deal. So I actually was signed even earlier.
really?
Yeah,
Okay.
I was signed to East West through Elektra. I was signed to Sylvia Rome, was actually my very first deal as a kid. Oh, I remember that. Like I had so much fun just traveling around the country. Can you imagine being 14 and just like in studios and getting on
Yeah.
planes and working with so many greats. And so my second record deal was when I signed there, I was 18. And I remember Alison Ball Gabriel, like, you already a pro. Like I came with a suit. I had a suit on in the meeting. I'll never forget. I'm
Nice.
18-year-old with a suit and the label, the production company I was with. And I remember Allison like, you like a grown woman, 18, sitting here with a suit on, trying to talk about some business. So by 18, I had already been, at that level for at least 4 years. So yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that Warner Brothers debut,
Yep.
that really puts you on the map there, you
Yeah, that
know?
was just so much fun. It was such an amazing time,
Yeah.
to record and make records. And the industry was different. We had to get out and about. We had to be in front of people. So immediately the singles out, and I'm all, touring and shows and radio interviews and intimate shows and big shows and summer jams, and everything was about people. We had to
Yeah.
meet other people and get out there. And when you're young, you got all that energy. You're just ready to learn and absorb. And it was just the best time. I had so much fun, worked very hard, just had a ball. I do miss those days, but we have to go with how things evolve, in the world. But I will say that was just the best. The Warner Brothers experience was like, can you imagine? It's like a gigantic fun experience, and I get to do what I love, sing.
Yeah, there you go. I
Yep.
mean, hey, you know, that nothing beats that when it is that you're doing
Nothing.
what it is that you really love.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
and and then you move forward from there. You had
Yeah.
your second album with
Yeah.
Free and Beautiful One. And
Yeah. I in between the first album, I had like a little actually I went into the A&M project pretty quickly, maybe about three years after that. But in between that time, I started doing the house music and Soulful House with Roy
yeah,
Davis and a couple of DJs. Then I got the A&M record deal, and then I got another project, the Listen album, which was released. Um, And then I kind of took, after the Listen project, is when I got into acting. So I kind of took a hiatus because I wanted to try to do other things like write music for film, get into the composing side, which I did, get into other art forms like acting. And I did, and I was able to kind of extend from music into those other fields, which was great. Yeah,
yeah. I
which
mean,
has
because
been.
entertainment wise,
Hmm.
you've really touched so many different aspects of it,
Yeah,
and it's pretty remarkable. I mean, the things that you've
thank you.
accomplished in such a short period of time, and
Yeah.
you're still a very young woman. I mean, there's a lot more for you to go.
Yeah. Well,
I
it's
mean,
really about being open to, I feel like with all, especially young artists coming up, it's really just knowing that you can do more than what you think you can with your gifts and talents. And you may have
mhm.
there's certainly you have other gifts and talents in you. There's certainly you have other gifts and talents in you. I think as a child coming up as a recording artist and singer, it did take me a minute to kind of open up horizons and realize that I can do more with my musical ability and performing abilities, and just kind of discover more outside of just recording records and getting on stage and singing, which I love, which is my first love, of course.
Yeah,
Though there's other things that I had in me, but I was a little fearful to try to do. And at a certain point, you get that courage and you go, you know what? Recording and performing live, you're still here. You're still very much here. I'm just going to extend out a bit and try some other things. And you just got to do it. Try it and connect. And in this day and age, especially, just try to do as much as you can, because entertainment is all connected. We're all
it is.
extensions. Mm-hmm.
And the thing that
Mm-hmm.
I love about it is that you didn't wait to evolve. I mean, like
Mm-hmm.
back in the day, you know, someone with your type of musical talent could just
Yeah.
rest on that and just say, all right, I'll
Mm-hmm.
just be a singer, and
Yeah.
that's that. But like
Yeah.
in this day and age, in the information age, with everything just moving so fast and
Mhm.
everything just being so temporary, even the
Right,
music that you put out, I mean, it's
right.
like it's only designed to be out
Yep,
here for a short period of time, and it's
right.
conditioned the listeners to
Mhm.
have like these short attention spans. So
Right.
so it's
Yes.
almost like with social media, you have to
Yeah.
keep hitting them with stuff. You have to keep,
Yes.
that stimulation going. And it's like
Yeah.
you were groomed from the beginning
Yeah.
to be able to do all of that. You know
Yeah,
what I
you
mean?
there exactly. And there's this other, I think another thing too is, and I love all we all have to evolve, and world changes, and
Yeah,
we're all flowing with it. Back then, another thing was that there was record labels. So an artist on your own, it wasn't impossible, but it was very difficult to release music, because back then it was
yeah,
CDs, and the beginning of digital, where but you had to have a label deal, and even an indie label, which was still had some presence in the music industry. It wasn't nearly as much as a major label, right? So back then we had more major labels though. But getting a record deal with a major label was extremely like a dream and a goal
yeah,
and like a wow for an artist, because it was hard and rare. And I think this, and I always will, for the most part, you had to have a certain level of talent
yeah,
to get that major label record deal, because they were like, look, we're spending all this money on this artist, they have to
yeah.
have talent. And I'm
There's a
not saying
lot of
there's
vetting.
yeah, there wasn't
Yeah,
programming, there wasn't the AIs there, and there wasn't like the vocal stuff. There was a little bit here and there, I guess, to certain extents. But what you hear, go if you listen to records in the 80s and 90s and even 2000s, those are real vocals. You're hearing a
yeah.
real voice. We were
Mhm.
really singing, and you may get reverb. That was the specialness of getting into the studio and sounding great. To us was like, I get reverb on my voice because that's something I can't add. But now, you know what I'm saying. Uh, so, and another thing too is to be able to get to that level of a performance and vocal mastery and musician mastery, because you also had great musicians as well.
Mhm.
It took work ethic, time, energy, honing, practicing, rehearsing, having mentors, learning. It wasn't overnight. You couldn't just put something in a program and it creates it. You had to spend time and effort to become a certain level of talent. And that's what I miss. Even
Yeah,
though I was a kid, my first deal, I'm 14. I was in the studio recording and doing backgrounds and singing in church back to back since I was like 7. So by the time I'm 14, but I had already been doing it for what, 8 years or 7 years, 14,
right.
15. So that's the thing, 8 years straight of hardcore training, singing every day in church, in the studio, singing with other singers, learning harmonies, learning how to hone my voice. By 14, I mean, I was 9 years already in vocal college. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I feel is missing today. I'm sure that there are plenty of artists, I mean, obviously, that can have that kind of training and mastery, though that was the norm back then. Everyone
Yeah.
pretty much had that. You had to. So even if we were young, a lot of, as a young artist, teens artists, as I was starting, and then even a bit like even early 20s, a lot of us already had years under our belts, of long hours, honing our crafts.
You
Yeah.
know, see that a lot in many aspects of entertainment, because
Yeah.
even myself and with my company, we were always club DJs,
Yeah.
and I started to see that shift like in the 2010s, whereas it was like and moving forward where it wasn't so much all about the entertainment anymore or
Yeah.
the DJ.
Mm-hmm.
It's like people weren't
Mm.
like excited to follow the DJ anymore. It was like all
Mm.
about the
Yeah.
promoter, the club
Right.
promoter,
Mhm.
and the imaging and the marketing that they were
Mhm.
doing in the social media. So people were
Yeah.
like going to and
Yeah.
it's the same thing with entertainment because it's like you're saying, you used to need to have
Yep.
talent.
Yes, you had to. Yep.
Now it's all about the followers, like
Mhm.
the influence,
Yeah.
that you have in
Yep.
this social media thing.
Right. Yep.
And that's what it is that the companies want.
Yep.
They're just like
Yeah.
they're not looking for
Yeah.
talent anymore.
Well, it labels too, and that's the thing. There are labels still today, but then there's a lot of artists are releasing music on their own, and I would
Yeah,
say that's one part I do like is that having that control and being able to release your own music is great. I like that part.
right.
Of course, because that's awesome. Like if you have music to express to the world, you don't have to try to get a label deal or try to sign it somewhere. You can go ahead and put it out yourself, which is it was really awesome to be
And
able to do
another
that.
reason why you would appreciate that is
Yeah.
because you're a writer as well.
Right.
You
And you
know?
just and you want to
Yeah,
do there's a pros and cons, of course, right? And I've said a lot of the what the good stuff was back in the day, but there's also the other side too, which
mhm,
was being as an artist, most likely you're not doing what you fully want to do. You have to adjust and shift and kind of become the product. But then, I luckily for me, I had a really great team around me and they allowed me to pretty much have a good amount of freedom. It's never going to be perfect because a lot of times it is still a business. If they're investing a lot of money in you and they're putting a lot behind you,
mhm.
we may not always understand what it takes as an artist, as far as on the business side of things. Like I may want to do this fully, and then they're like, "Well, that's cool, but here we
Yeah,
still need to try to sell records. Here we still got to try to make some profit." So really, it's coming to a healthy middle, right? That's real.
yeah.
That's the goal of what our young artists, especially, which we all tried to do that back then, was at least come to a healthy middle. Because if you let me do what I wanted to do, I might fully want to do. I mean, I don't know. I probably would have. I mean, I had all kinds of ideas at that age. I'm gonna do like a jazz. Like they were like, look, you gotta do something upbeat here. We gotta have you still have to sell to the youngsters. And I'm like, but I want to be like Billy Hop. What I'm saying? They're
Yeah,
just. I mean, that's great, but there still needs to be a kind of a middle. Try to mend both business and being able to sell music with the trends, but at the same time be authentic. It's not easy, but if you can really capture that balance,
mhm.
then a lot of times you would see some great projects come out of that too. So
And you've collaborated with so
oh yeah.
many different, artists.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah. Thank
Eric
you.
Benet, will.i.am, Jaheim, Patti LaBelle.
Yeah, yeah. I did one of my proudest, other than all of those amazing artists, which was a super duper blessing each time. Was and I was just home recently, checking on my dad, and I was looking through my dad and mom's vinyl collection, which is amazing. Oh my goodness, they got so much great vinyl, and I pulled out a George Duke vinyl record.
Yes,
Yes,
and you worked
and
with him too.
oh, George was like, absolute dream. And about a few years before he passed, I got to really work with him a lot on a lot of different projects that he was doing. And
Wow.
I just loved him. We got to write together, me, him, and Sammy McKinney. And I mean, working with him, I would say I learned something from a lot of great musicians, working with a lot of great songwriters and people that I looked up to and admired. I would say George was one of my most educated experiences as a singer. He taught me so much. Literally every session, I would walk out of the session a better singer, a better writer, a better performer. I miss him so much. He was definitely one of my great mentors. And then most recently, I worked with Dexter Wanzel.
Yeah.
Yes, and he's been, oh, that's like he's Dexter. I'm Terry Dexter, and he's Dexter. He's so funny. We're like Dexter and Dexter. And he invited me to be a part of his project that he had a couple years ago, and I just love him. I mean, we've been writing. We started writing a song, and I performed with him live twice at the Rhodes Festival. And I've learned a lot with him, you know, working and learn and being around those folks. Woo, amazing legends like them. You spend 5 minutes with them and you're better already. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's what we really need for the youngsters now, the young artists coming up. You know, there's some great talents, but having those kind of mentors, though, I mean, I'm just
Mhm.
hoping that you know, there's enough of us here that can still put out this type of music where you got to learn how to hone it. You without putting a program around or learning through a program how to play instruments. Really learn how to play, master that instrument, master your voice, get in touch with the voice within, the style and the vibe that you have inside. I mean, I just hope and pray that we hold on to that as long as we can in our world, you know.
Yeah. It's like the technology
Mm,
is like it can help in a lot of ways, but
sure.
I
Yep.
remember
Yeah.
Prince saying something when he was with us. He said, you know, get on top of technology or else
Yeah.
technology will be on top of you. And
Well, uh,
and now,
yeah.
we he said that a long time ago. And
Yeah.
no one really caught it, but now you can see it,
Mhm.
you
Yep.
know,
That's
because
true.
now the technology it's all over the place.
Yeah,
It's
it
fooling
is.
us. It's
Yep.
tricking us,
Yep.
and it's
Yeah.
dumbing down the society in a lot of ways, in my opinion,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
people don't have to read anymore. They
Yes. You know,
don't
there's
have.
the other part too, as talking, I'm getting like, you're just inspiring me to think about this other thing too, is when, for instance, with singing, like you're saying,
Mhm.
when you put it through different programs and perfect the voice or make it sound, as I call it, metal. I call it the metal voice, because there's a tone to it that just doesn't sounds robotic, and I just say metal.
Yeah.
Um, but what it does is it takes the humanity out of the human singing voice, right? Because
Mhm.
like George used to always tell me, because I used to be super perfectionist in the studio. I wanted to do a lot of takes because I want that perfect, everything perfectly on key and the perfect this. Then he taught me it's the imperfection from feeling. Like when you're feeling a song and you're singing it, the feeling is more effective than a perfect note, right? So the flaws, quote unquote, the beautiful flaws in the singing voice that may be a one-time capture, that's something that you cannot program or you can't put through a machine, you know what I'm saying, through the metal voice thing, as I call it. And that's something else that I'm seeing that being lost now. Every time I'm not every time, but there are records. There's actually quite a few artists, though, you know what, that are still not putting anything on the voice, or just singing with you're hearing their real voice. But
Right.
I think a lot of times, though, I'm hearing a lot of these a lot of records now that the human voice is just, you could tell that it's just the imperfections that aren't there. That one time expression of how they felt singing in the studio and capturing that is gone. And that, to me, I'm scared that I just don't want the kids to ears to get used to that and go, that's what singing is, that's what music is. Even with musicians, there's that
Yeah,
imperfection, beautiful imperfections that come from feeling. I don't know if I like the word imperfections, but you know what I'm saying.
yeah,
The
yeah. It's
Yeah,
and it's almost like the
yeah,
I've heard the argument also with even more of our older veterans that
yeah.
recorded everything analog, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yep.
as opposed to all of this digital everything, because
Right. Yep.
just the fact that the
Yep.
tape had there's a magnetic component
Yes.
to that,
Right.
and that
Mm.
magnetism is is with us in our life, and a lot of
Right.
the tape captures not
Right.
only the notes but the
Right.
magnetism, the
Right.
spirit, and the feeling of what's
Absolutely.
being expressed there. So
Yeah.
yeah, a lot of times the note might not be absolutely
Right.
perfect, but the
Right.
feeling, people can
Yep.
feel it in their
Ooh, that
chest.
feeling. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
you just can't it's nothing you can cover, mask, or hide, or perfect. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
It's just
Mm.
is. It's alive, that's what it is. It's
Yeah,
life. It's
man.
life. Right. Is
Mm.
life perfect? No, right? See?
No, no,
Right.
no, it's
Right.
not, but, like, at the end of the day,
Yeah.
when you look back on the life, it could
Yep.
be like, "Wow,"
Yep. Yep.
there there was so much perfect stuff
Yep.
that overall, in its
Yeah.
entirety, it was
Uh-huh.
perfect, but
Exactly.
you can't get tripped up on every little
Right.
thing, you
Right.
know?
Yes. Exactly. You
So
gonna have
tell me,
yes.
are you as much of a perfectionist with your acting?
um, you know, um, I would say perfectionist in the preparation.
Uh-huh,
Making sure that I'm prepared. But when it's shoot time, I I leave a lot of room for spontaneity, for um just authenticity. Whatever happens, happens. Like being a tuning fork, right?
uh-huh.
Just like a tuning fork, and allowing whatever's coming to just go move through you and let it be. So the perfection, I would say, is preparation. I definitely prep for roles, especially when shooting. But on set, when it's time, it's like, all right, I let it all go, and hey, let's just be in this moment, and let's just go with the flow.
How would you compare, like, being a musical artist to be an actress? What's
Yeah,
the you know,
yeah.
what's the pros and the cons of each?
Um, I honestly, I could express in my experience, I do use musicality in my acting,
Mhm.
because as a musician and a singer, and I hear music all the time. Like, I can't. It's hard to explain. Like, life sounds are music sounds to me.
That's
Like,
right.
I'm
Mhm.
always catching a beat in anything from dropping water to people walking to the wind. I'm finding music is just in every part of my life. So
Mm.
music actually is my foundation as an actor. There's rhythm, there's the emotion comes through melody, which is story, which is
Yeah.
experience, which is
Cadence.
feeling. Uh-huh. So I would say
Mhm.
that both are connected in a sense where my storytelling as an actor, it comes from musicality, and musicality, really does come from life and story. So they're very, very connected.
You
Yeah.
know, you really fit into this platform because,
Yeah.
not
Thank
only with
you.
the song that you have, because the Believer to me comes across as a very inspirational song. It's
Mm,
almost seems as though, someone is pulling themselves out of, you know, something that was
Yeah.
containing them and holding them and
Yes. Yes.
breaking out. And you wrote that.
Yes. So I'm gonna tell you something. I haven't actually said this yet to anyone,
Okay.
other than Duke, who I co-wrote this with. Believer is my Duke Williams is my partner from the D.
Nice.
When he sent me the track, and we talked about, I said, we really wanted to represent real, authentic R&B as far as what we know from Detroit, real musicality and a real story. And he sent me
And
this
you hit that
amazing.
mark, by the way.
Yeah. He sent me this amazing track, the beginnings of it, of course, and it was just amazing. I was inspired all the way. And to tell you something I haven't talked about with Believer is, I'll tell you what inspired Believer.
Okay.
Believer was inspired by a very dear loved one who, a friend and loved one who was just getting out of a very long abusive marriage,
I
actually.
could feel it. I
And
could
it
feel
was
the
the
pain.
conversation that we
Mhm.
had. She literally told me that we had this long talk the day that she left. And we talked for hours. And it was just such a deep, poignant conversation. And the things that she shared with me, and being in such a dark, uh, very violent and very difficult situation, and how she had all the things that she had gone through to get to the place of realizing that it was her own self that
Yeah.
was the real hero, but she hadn't looked anywhere. She would looked everywhere else but the hero in the
Had to
mirror,
find the
which was
believer
her.
in
Right.
herself.
And we literally said, because I was just trying to be careful with supporting her, of course, because she was just coming out. And I was like,
Mhm.
so you believed in you. You the believer. That's how it started. So she's like, yeah, that makes sense. So the believer, you got to believe in you, but there's only one other than God, of course. He's always
Yeah.
there to protect you and to guide you, although you don't always see that, right? And then so it took for you though to finally look at you instead of anywhere else, and that's how this song was inspired by that situation. So it was pretty much she inspired me by sharing that with me. And also, I was so happy to see her transformation. It's a song of transformation.
Yes.
I rewrote it a few times as far as lyrically trying to really get to a place. Now, this song actually was one of the most, I would say, integral because it was coming from that conversation, and also how she affected me, and how she touched me and how she inspired me. But also, when somebody's sharing something like that, you're also finding your own experiences in your own life that you can relate to. So it then hit parts of my own life. And then I just started thinking about others, myself, and her. And then I wanted to really bring in everyone's type of similar experience, be it something like extreme, like in her situation, which, hey, extreme is really depending on how each person feels. It can be a relationship, it can be friend, it can be a job, it can be just your own mental state. I mean, that the inflictor can be in different ways, but in the end, the person or the spirit that will get you out, other than God, because we know He's there, is yourself, is you, and
Yeah.
you are the believer. That believer is one, is yourself. Other than the God, we know God is like He's just
Yeah.
like, okay, I know you're gonna find it. You're strong, and I'm here to make sure that you good. But you got to make sure you good. You know what I'm saying? And that's what it's about. Yeah.
And also in a even a deeper sense, I would dare to say that, hey, God is within as well.
Oh yes, absolutely. Yep.
And a lot of times we have to turn within in order to find the solutions and the
Yeah.
strength, to get through certain things, or to
Yeah.
get through anything that's
Absolutely.
challenging you. You know what I
Yes.
mean? It has
Yes.
to start within because
Absolutely.
if the believer is not in you,
Mm-hmm.
what can you do?
Yep. And it's really about perspective. In the chorus, there's a couple lines where I say reconfiguring how you see faith and how you embrace faith, reconfiguring, redefining love. Literally, It's reconfiguring love and faith and all of that yourself, because you can have a perspective and the way that you see love, that you see faith, that you see God, that you see yourself. But it's really
Mhm.
about going into the root of that and organizing that into a perspective and a belief in a way that serves you best, right? So that's
Yeah.
another thing. We say that, oh, this person, because that's what happens with friends, that with certain folks and women and men that have gone through what my friend did. It's just a long time. It was, I love him, I love him, I love him, right? But
Yeah.
love, she had to redefine what that really means. Love is not that, right?
Yeah.
And love is, and also and there's a part where line where I do talk about faith, re-understanding your faith. And because you think, because she was, and a lot of folks think, well, God's got me as I go through this, but really it's also understanding that this is not what he wants for you. This is not, he doesn't want for you to be going through this,
Right.
or have, know that he is there, but also know that he is there, and that your connection and faith with God is as strong as ever. So it's really about redefining a lot of things in your perspective and also your beliefs in life too. And those are usually the key elements, which is love, faith, God, all that. I mean, not all that. It's not a lot. It's just these key aspects. So
So I think, we already covered the very last question I was going to have for you. Um,
sure.
because as we say, in the world, the land, the realm of SM Enlightenment Radio,
Yes.
positivity is everything.
Yes.
So what keeps Terri Dexter positive and inspired, like you haven't already told me?
Oh gosh. I I would say, um number one, and this is, and it's kindness.
Mm,
Being kind to one another, being kind to yourself. Really think about that, because what we're dealing with today in the world, as you see, where are we really seeing kindness? Looking out for yourself, looking out for others, from self-care for yourself to helping other people, to acknowledging other people every day. I'm gonna tell you, every day I try to give somebody I don't know a compliment, a stranger or somebody. Well, they're not, just anybody that I can see, that I notice, oh, or just say something positive. That really is fulfilling. Like, it's about giving love and kindness and being there for each other, listening, being supportive of each other, checking
yes.
in with each other, just a quick check in, with each other. But kindness is so important. I think it's getting lost. And so for me at this point in my life, I'm really trying to wake up and go, be kind, Terri, and try to be as kind as you can to as many people as you can today, and really try to spread that out as much as you can. If I can share that message or kind of remind my friends and loved ones, be kind, be nice, be cool, it really, that's what I go by right now. Definitely is kindness. Yeah.
Awesome. Man,
Yeah.
Terri Dexter.
That
I
pig.
Hey, listen, I can I can sit up here and vibe with you all day.
Yeah. Oh, you too. You're awesome. This
You
has
know,
just been amazing. So much fun
yeah.
and very lifted, very enlightened. Thank you. Thank you
Yeah,
for
well,
speaking with me.
that's the thing about this platform is we
Yeah.
like to be a place where people can go to feel good. Our
Yeah.
tagline is
Yeah.
feel good radio at its finest. So
Yes. I
that's
love
what we're
that.
all about.
And
So,
I
hey,
gotta say one last thing.
all right.
Do you see that?
Detroit.
Do you see a lion there?
I see it. I see it. I
I
see it. Hey,
can't,
I
I
mean,
can't help it.
hey, I ain't got nothing to say because my Giants, just giving me a nervous breakdown over here.
Oh,
The way
you know what?
they're
I watch
performing.
all the games, and I'm as we have a great connection with the Giants too. So hey, we're rooting for y'all too.
Yeah, yeah. Hey,
That's right.
I also produce a really good podcast on the platform called The Smarter Fan, and a couple
Ah,
of my buddies sit around and talk about sports. So you got to definitely tune us in.
Oh, I'm jumping in, because I love football. I watch all the games. I love it. I appreciate the sport. I just love watching, and it doesn't matter the team. Of course, Detroit is my team, but
That's it.
hey, I appreciate all the teams. I do. I just love the sport. What can I
Awesome. Hey,
say?
and I just have to tell you that we appreciate you.
Thank
And
you.
I'm just excited to see what's next for you,
Oh,
what
thank
other
you.
music. I mean, I was vibing, I just recently discovered the Just a Little Bit of Love record. You know what I mean?
Oh,
That
yeah. Oh, thank
I
you.
love that,
I
you
have
know?
a new single coming called Tough Love. It's R&B. It's like it's a vibe. It's like it's a feel. It's a little bit more up tempo. It's Detroit, but it's definitely gonna have you swinging and like having a good time. And that'll be coming out November 28th. We just got the date. Just
Nice.
finished the imaging, getting ready to shoot a video for that. So you'll be the first. We're gonna have definitely have Marlo send that to you, and
Hey,
it's gonna be a vibe.
yeah, well, I'm looking forward to it. And
Thank
hey,
you.
you're definitely not going to be a stranger to SM Enlightenment Radio.
Absolutely
We're
not.
gonna have you
Mm-mm.
back, and I want to thank you
Thank you.
so
Thank
much
you.
for giving me your time. All right.
Thank you. You're awesome. Thank you so much.
Hey, as we always say, positivity is everything. Anybody want to shout out before we go? Anybody want to shout out before we go, Terry?
Oh, me? Oh, I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, I was about You know what? I wanna shout out, and Imma say this, my mom, I recently lost no, I won't say lost. My mother passed, August, 3rd, and I'm gonna shout my
Mm.
mama in spirit because I know
Yes,
she's here, like, because she was always with me and everything, and
I
anytime I was
recently
doing
lost mine
something.
too.
You
Mhm.
did? So
Yeah,
we're gonna
yeah,
shout
last
out
year.
both of our
Yeah, last
moms.
year, and I was the caretaker for her for a
Oh,
lot of
yeah.
years, and
What
so
was
we
your mom's name?
uh Parmitha or Pam.
Pam. What's up, Pam? And what's up,
Yeah,
Sheila? I know
yeah,
they're together. Hey, y'all meet each other. I know they're together in heaven.
that's it.
So
That's
let's
it.
shout out Pam and Sheila. What's up?
Whoop,
We
whoop.
love y'all.
Oh man,
Oh,
thank you
thank you,
so much,
Doc.
Terry.
Thank
All right.
you, Doc P. Thank you so much.
Yes, indeed. This has been the spotlight. Stay tuned, baby, and we're gonna get into Terry Dexter's newest song. It is called Believer, right here on WSMESM Enlightenment Radio.